Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Get early access to Sleep Number's biggest sale of the year. 25% off the i8 bed, our most popular. Plus free home delivery. Limited time. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Sammy's Grill on Highland Road, welcome to the Thursday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff along with Jimmy Ott. Max Gotro is off having fun somewhere. Today he's going to be off for a couple of days. But Jordan Kinch is back in the studio, holding down the fort. Colucci with us later this hour. Jacques Doucet will be with us from Channel 9 in the second hour. Jacques got another great event with Red Rock and Blue coming up this weekend that he'll be telling you about. Plus, he's been out at football practice, so we'll talk to him. Jimmy?
Right up my alley. I mean, how many days, how many shows did we do on Fridays, afternoons for the catering?
Yeah, it's the catering reunion. Yeah,
every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the city was a high roller there. $1 long necks and half price appetite. Who wants a beer? I got it. Get the shrouds on me. I mean, the whole bar gets at $18.
Some of those specials you just don't ever forget. That's good stuff.
So we had Darren and Kevin. It was a good partnership for a long time. Had a great run, and so catering reunion. That kind of rings a bell.
Yeah.
Werewolf.
Oh yeah,
Allison Collins.
There's some real good music. So Jacques will be telling us about that later on. I'll give you flowers here early. 3 more winners on Auto Lock yesterday.
You're learning. You see how this works.
Three more, three plus money winners yesterday. That's 7 for 7 the last 2 days. I won't ask you to comment since that is in violation of the ethics rules of the gambling gods. But you talk about the game if you want.
It was spot when you pick in the Washington Nationals. It's a spot when you're picking against the Red Sox, who were the Royals in Fenway. Mm-hmm. So some pitching matchups, some spots, some prices, and it's.
Hey,
thank you, Charlie.
Let it roll.
This is just symbiotic. Delmar is just this trip. Just
rejuvenated.
To go back for 3 weeks. Huh?
Like a B12 shot, right?
That's very good.
Feeling.
What do they call it? You get the IV something punch.
Yeah. The rejuvenation. I call it a B12 shot. That's probably dated, but
No, but not a shot. But you get a bag of fluids.
Yeah,
and
you get hydrated.
Yeah.
So yesterday, we had a little bit of an episode. There's this movie I love called War Games from the 80s. Matthew Broderick, before he did Ferris Bueller, was in this movie, and he played a teenage computer hacker looking for a video game, and he accidentally logs into the Defense Department's war computer. And there's this scene in the movie where for about 3 or 4 minutes, all the generals at NORAD think that the Russians have launched a surprise nuclear missile attack on the United States, and they've just got minutes to decide what to do. And they're sitting there going, and there's everything you would expect of a missile attack. There's the sirens, there's the red lights, going crazy. And for a couple of minutes, they're there like, the world is coming to an end. This is it. We're going to have a nuclear war. And then this engineer comes storming into the war room, and he says, it's a simulation. It's a simulation. We're not being attacked. Don't launch any missiles. We're going to be okay. And then the movie goes on from there. That's what it was like yesterday for about an hour in Baton Rouge and with the LSU fan base, wherever it is. Because somewhere before 2 o'clock, somewhere between the time we left the show and 2 o'clock, a rumor took hold about Garrett Nussmeier and an injury off the LSU practice field. And because there was no media availability yesterday, this story was sort of gathering steam for, like I said, for about an hour. And for about an hour, while everybody that covers LSU football, including me, is trying to track down exactly what's going on here, the speculation went wild about how serious this was. As it turned out, by the time Matt got on at 3 o'clock, the rumor had pretty much been squelched by numerous sources, and Matt started his show with it. Nussmeier, had a little tweak, left the practice on his own power, and they're off today anyway. This was a scheduled off day, and look, crisis averted. But for about an hour, the worst fears of every LSU fan flashed in front of their eyes. Visions of the Music City Bowl, okay? And you came to understand, at least I did when it was over, it's like I knew how important Nussmeier was to this season. I understand everything that's on the line for LSU and for him personally. But I hadn't given a whole lot of thought, just because I like to be optimistic in nature, about what life would be like if he wasn't available. And there's a lot to like about this team. There's a renewed depth on the defensive line and a little bit of attitude that Kyle Williams has added. There's depth at wide receiver. There is a healthy Harold Perkins. There is big upgrades at safety and I hope at punter. Caden Durham looks like he may have an all-conference type year. The odds makers even think that. There is a lot to like, but none of it runs without him. And this is not a ding on Michael Van Buren. Van Buren's an interesting prospect. When Underwood ditched him, they had to go out and think about how difficult this is. You need a quarterback with starting experience, preferably starting experience in the Southeastern Conference, to transfer in knowing that he has zero chance to start games this year unless there's an injury. Zero. No quarterback competition, no promise of anything. You just get to come here and be the backup and to be able to fit that bill. Van Buren started 8 games for Mississippi State last year. He was a freshman. The results were mixed. He was brought in for a very specific reason, and that reason was if Nussmeier missed a little bit of time, that he would be able to steer the ship. He was brought in if LSU were to, say, have a 7-point lead in the Florida game to play the last 10 minutes if Nussmeier got dinged and maybe start the next week's game against Southeastern, that kind of thing. He was not brought in to go on the road and beat Clemson. He was not brought in to go on the road and beat Alabama. He was brought in that if something happens to Nussmeier for a short period of time, he could hold the rope. Asking him to go in and play, 65, 70 snaps at Clemson or Alabama would be a little bit much for him. So that's where you were. For the idea of life without Nussmeier for an hour yesterday was, okay, probably 8-4 is the ceiling now instead of the floor. And I don't know how well Van Buren would have acclimated, and they would have changed some things up. But that's the drop off. And of all of the Saints players and all the LSU players, this is the one guy that you simply cannot imagine doing the season without. I speculated, Jimmy, and this is the first thing I asked you when we got to site this morning here at Sammy's, was what this would do to the point spread if he had been ruled out at some point. And I thought that it would move it somewhere close to 10 points from 3. And then you informed me that... So
move it 7 points.
Move it 7 points.
Well, yeah, it was 3.5, so to 10.5.
Okay, to 10.5. You informed me that just the rumor moved the line yesterday.
It's 4.5 at the Queen this morning.
That's a pretty significant hike for 3.5 weeks to kick off, don't you?
Well, people respond to information, Charlie.
Yeah.
And it was... they're getting a jump. And really, to take in, it was 4 yesterday. It was. It went to 4 at some places. It was kind of 3.5. Half the places in 4 or some. So 3.5, 4 going into yesterday. But at the Queen, at the DraftKings outlet, and every DraftKings outlet, it's 4.5 right now. And say it's true. which when you hear these things, a lot of times, more times than not, I don't know exactly a percentage, even if you want to say 50%, man, it's worth it to take a risk.
Take a flyer, yeah.
Yeah, to get ahead of it. I would have said it moved like 6. Okay, I'm not saying what the difference is. I think it's more if he's out. But it's worth it to take a chance. And if it is right, you got it at 3.5 instead of 10.5, and so you still got it's better now than when it moved. But I tell you right now, now's the time to take the 4.5 if you like LSU at all, because I think it will settle back down.
Yeah,
I think some people will come in. I'm
not
not the best at predicting the line movements in college as much as I am in the NFL, but
I'll tell you when it comes back down is tomorrow's practice is open. Today they're off.
When they see
when there are eyes on him on the field, then. Okay.
Yeah, because that man, that's just the local media down there saying, everything's fine, show me.
Yeah, that will be the engineer running into the room going, we're not being attacked, okay? Everything's
you're going to lay exactly what it was. You might not have the side. So if it settles back down to 3.5 or 4, you laid what it was, but you could have had a closing line value of 6.5, 7 points.
You almost feel like you got a free swing out of that. And if you're an LSU fan and you heard this, Lord knows everybody's phone exploded. This is exactly how important this guy is. Because these rumors kick around from time to time in August camp about injuries, but it's not the guy. It's not, OMG, did he tear something? Is he out?
But that's what I
your worst fears,
torn ACL.
Yeah, your worst fears flash in front of you right there.
Well, I said this is awful.
Yeah, no.
My first reaction, this sucks. This is really, because right now the odds makers, LSU has a little support right now on the betting market because they were plus money. So it's 40, 50. Now it's basically pick 'em that they make the playoff. Okay? I think they're a playoff team. You think they're a playoff team. We think so. They have no chance without him.
No, without him. No.
Zero.
No.
And there is a lot. There's valid reasons. I got some response yesterday about Rabelais talking about the kid from Kentucky. He's got like 5 kickoff returns for touchdowns.
Darian Brown, yeah.
Okay. He's running with the 2s. Yeah, that's a sign of their talent and their depth.
Yeah.
You've talked about they got 8 guys on the defensive front
that have started games. Yeah, they're not just one or two games.
So not only are they talented, this is the best 22 that Kelly's going to put out there.
Yeah,
but you got depth. You're going to lose some guys.
It's his best 44
football.
too. It's his best. 44.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Your best 44. I forget what team it was. One year they returned 42 of their 44. It was a mid-level program. Like, no, they're going to have it. They cannot have it. And then Nussmeier is your experienced quarterback. Bet Rivers has them as the top, the odds-on favorite to be drafted 1. I'm not betting that. I don't know, but that tells you. And yes, game off. They may lose because that is going to be the toughest spot for their offensive line to Clemson. That's a tough assignment, okay? It's for every offensive line, their first game. The continuity. So you have all these new pieces. That's going to be a challenge against a quality defensive front on the road, all right? But if they lose that, I still think they're going to the playoff.
As do I. I think both of these teams are playoff teams, no matter who wins the game. I agree. I agree. I feel like Clemson is the better bet because if they lose, they have an easier path to 10 wins than LSU does.
The Ohio State, Texas, and LSU Clemson games are those. I would take all of them to be in the playoff. Yes.
Yeah, that's 4 teams, of which 2 will definitely lose in week 1. That could all be in the playoffs. Should all be.
I think should.
Yeah. Should.
Well, what was your first reaction to the first one you read?
Well, I got a call before I read anything.
Okay.
I was on my way. Away from the show yesterday, and I was like, come on, man. And then I call who I usually call, which, with my information people. And it was like, we don't know. Give us a minute. And then, like I said, about 45 minutes later, I got the call. You're okay. But for 45 minutes, my thought was, you just went from an 8-4 was the floor, and now 8-4 is the ceiling.
One thing you don't get in Del Mar is boiled crabs, boiled seafood, pretty much.
No.
So when crawfish season is over, it gets hot, and then we turn to crab season. We're boiling crabs over here Tuesday through Thursday, starting at 5 p.m., and Friday, Saturday, Sunday, starting at noon. And I had to come over here, and the good thing is now they take a little patience, and and nothing like South Louisiana boiled crabs. The meat that you get out of there, man, that lump crab meat is so damn good. I mean, it's as good as it gets. It's my favorite thing to eat. But yes, you gotta peel them a little bit. Takes a little bit more work, and so sometimes people they're not eating as much. So what do? We got a platter over here at Sammy's: 3 boiled crabs and a dozen jumbo boiled shrimp. Well, boiled shrimp are easy. It's all meat, there. So for just under $20, man, came over here with a cold beer. They were outstanding. So really good stuff over here. Now you've got, and that's in addition to everything in our regular menu. Start off with the appetizers, like the legendary fried mozzarella sticks, those jumbo mozzarella sticks with the Italian breadcrumbs with our homemade marinara sauce. You can do the onion ring stack. The buffalo wings are really good. Loaded fries with the jalapeno green onions, ranch, bacon. Our soups, crawfish etouffee. Love the white beans and rice over here. Love them. Whether you get the pork chops, the catfish plate, you get a monster bowl. I mean,
your
frisbee size
are
huge.
Bowl.
Yes,
huge
of red beans or white beans. So it's got a little bit for everybody. So if you, no matter what level eater, from burgers to steaks to seafood to kids' plates to po' boys to sandwiches, you name it, we have it over here at Sammy's Grill. The original Sammy's Grill on Highland, just over Star. And, of course, the friendliest bartenders around. So, yes, indeed.
Live at Sammy's on Highland Road, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Sammy's Grill on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we return here at Sammy's. We're brought to you by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, helping you deal with pain, discomfort, the things that are keeping you from getting around as well as you'd like. Dr. Michael Goff and his staff done a great job for our family over the years. So if you've got neck pain, back pain, things that are keeping you from getting a good night's sleep, let them get you in a program to target your problem areas and get you to feeling better. Whether it's sometimes just a little exercise or stretching program can do wonders for you. But if you do need dry needling or electric nerve stimulation, cryo ultrasound therapy, you can get it there. Then a number of other techniques they can use to get you to feeling better. Airline Highway, Plank Road, Jefferson Highway near Drusilla. And now to one of Jimmy's favorite topics, the Mannings.
Boy, I mean, like they don't have enough coverage, huh? I mean, you something, huh?
This,
well, this.
Okay, so this this little quote from Archie Manning, which was in response to a question about Arch and another year in the draft, or however they phrased it.
Right.
And all Archie said was, he's not going to do that. Archie's going to be at Texas.
I've been telling you that for how long? But when Archie says it, when have I been wrong with the Mannings?
Well,
let me answer that for me. When have I been wrong?
I tell you what, when EJ eventually gets married and has kids, when they ask Archie about your grandkids, I'll defer to you. Okay, so I'm going to defer to Archie on his grandkids.
Charlie,
okay? This has been obvious for a while. Okay, I don't think that if anybody's surprised by this, we've seen.
So now you think it's a done deal.
I always thought that yes, that he was going to come back.
Zero sense.
The Mannings are, for a lot of reasons, okay? We talked about most of them on the show. The number of starts that he's got to get, the blueprint that was laid down by Peyton and Eli and the long careers that they had, the success that they had, and it didn't get shoved out in there. The pretty measured approach, given what they could have blown this up into, to the whole college life. I mean, Arch is not, at least as far as I can see, a look-at-me guy. Okay, when you think about the number of social media things that he could have done, he doesn't have to, but he could be. Okay, he could be the most. If he wanted to be, he could be the most entitled player in the United States of America.
They're going to tell LSU they're interested. They're going to take their official visit. They're going to do that with no intention. Okay, they're not going to do that. They're not Deion saying this is not Prime's family. Okay, they're not going to show their Rolex watches or whatever they are after the game to get their. No, they don't have to. They don't have to. And he's getting treated better than he's done. He's done little to nothing on the field. Little to nothing on the field since he's been there, all right? He's getting treated better than Earl Campbell did, Charlie.
He is, and it's a different time, and they can treat him a lot better than that because they can give him all this stuff.
Not even including the money.
But let me tell you what he hasn't done, okay? He hasn't threatened to transfer. He hasn't said, I better start. He's been there for 3 years now, okay? He hasn't said, look at me. He hasn't put up his own website, or he is not a spotlight seeker. Okay, and he could be if he wanted to be. He could be Johnny Manziel.
What Manning has been?
None of them.
Cooper a little bit.
Well,
because he's had to. Because he's had to do some little thing. And he's a charismatic guy.
But from a football standpoint, they just don't do that. And so this is not a surprise, but when you think about all the things he could do and hasn't done, to bring attention to himself, then this is pretty predictable. Now, I think this holds even if Texas wins the national championship, which they could.
That's funny.
If they win the Heisman Trophy, if he wins the Heisman Trophy, which he could. I think he comes back for his senior year, but this seems to have put everybody on. Oh, wow, he's going to come back for his senior year. Well, if you read the tea leaves, this was pretty predictable before that.
You didn't say that in that tone, in those words, predictable, no-brainer, everything you just said until now. Once Archie confirms it, I'm trying to tell you, I said all the same things now, but I'm kind of with you.
He ain't your grandkid. I thought he was coming back for his senior year. Was I as demonstrative as I just was just now? No. But, yeah, Archie's words carry some weight here.
Could he go back and get his degree? Sure. But wouldn't it be nice to not go back to school? I mean, we have college. I mean, you had to go back, right?
Yes, I had to go.
Was that fun, or would you have rather it if you just finished it the first time?
I would rather finish.
I would have had a hard time going back. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
more committed academically than you. That's obvious.
I made it to class a lot more often when I went back. But no, when you're the oldest person in the class, no, it's not terribly comfortable.
You were the oldest.
All indications were yes. That
dude, he's. Why would he transfer? What's Texas roster look like?
Texas rosters looks great.
I mean, didn't they just have the number one recruiting class again? They got the upper hand. Who's got a bigger budget than them?
How many places could he have started from the day he hit campus?
What's that?
How many places could he have started from the day he hit campus? Or at the very least, the second year. You got a kid that said, I will go and I will sit for 2 years, and then I will play for 2 years when I am being offered everything under the sun. It takes a certain amount of maturity to do that.
When Peyton was a big deal, when he was going to be number one and came back for another year, okay? Well, they're not. There's not some economic hardship situation.
No, there's not.
I mean, that used to be the term. When a player would leave before their senior eligibility was up, they called it a hardship declaration.
Yeah,
meaning,
I remember. Yeah.
Meaning, like, no, he's got to go and make money. His family, and there's a lot of kids like that. They're farthest thing from that. This is not. It's much more of a sacrifice for Kevin Falk to come back for his senior year than a Peyton Manning. It's just that's just being fair, man.
I think about two kids that both won the Heisman Trophy, who both after their redshirt freshman year won the Heisman Trophy. There was a lot of light on them, and both of them made enough mistakes to sink a battleship. Johnny Manziel and Jameis Winston. Okay, this kid comes in now. He hasn't won the Heisman Trophy yet, but he's had every bit the spotlight on him that those two kids did after they won it. And he's handled it very well.
those kids got the notoriety because of their play on the field.
They did.
This guy's gotten it before.
Which makes it even harder on him, I think, to resist it.
There comes some with fame, with attention. Yeah. There comes you compromise your privacy. Yeah, he can't just be. I'll trade it. I'll go back and be in his shoes right now. Right. But there's some of that. I get that. But it's, Whit Weeks and Garrett Nussmeier, the Netflix show that you quoted, part of the thing is like, college ain't bad. Hanging in college ain't bad, which we've been trying to tell people. Man, what player, former player, 10 years removed, 20 years removed, 30 years removed, doesn't go back and say, man, college was just the greatest time.
And that was before they had money.
Yes.
Before this kind of money anyway.
Yes, and so now you add it. Now it's less reason. Now we have this evaluator, 25 starts. It's like if you have 25 starts, you perform better. You don't. Develop and be ready for the pros. So it's
no surprise, but it is confirmed.
I'm glad. I'm just glad that Archie could confirm it for you, because you just disregard everything. You think I'm hating? No, I'm not hating. I didn't tell me the last time I've been wrong on these guys. Huh?
The Mannings? Huh? When Eli beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
EJ's grandkids won't see a Manning play for LSU. I promise you that.
That's probably true.
Yes, indeed. Don't forget our friends at Chad Reynolds and Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings, 296-0060. Full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Our great team over at Legacy Title, Ashley Donald, Mariana Haynes, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Natalie and Bradford Smith, buying, building, or refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds and Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at Sammy's on Highland Road, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Colucci time. Dwayne Colucci is back to give his best picks on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Colucci, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well, my man. I'm in Delmar. How should I be?
Oh, you're still there, huh? It warmed up a little bit this week into the mid-70s, huh? Tough.
Yeah.
That's a great place. How you been doing out there?
Not too bad. I'll tell you the truth. I bailed out the first day. I had a nice price horse. Then I had Richard Baltus's couple of horses. My dad knows him very well, so he gave us some good information. But, so far even if the expenses don't kill you. You know how that is. Everything is double the cost of what it used to be, and it's just you enjoy it. It's your vacation. You save up for this all year, but the horses have been good. I just missed that pick the day of the Whitney. I just missed the pick 5, the late pick 5. It paid $10,000, Jimmy, and I lost the test stakes by a nose. I didn't have both the Rusty Arnold horses. I needed that one horse. I love Sierra Leone. I just, zigged and zagged and just missed the huge one. But at Elmar, I've been doing pretty good. Was up pretty big the last day of the week and gave some of it back in the last couple of races. But everything's been great. Weather's been perfect. A little foggy today where I'm at because I stay right on the coast, but I'm sure that'll burn off. And it's going to be hot today. They're saying 80 degrees today. So 80 in Delmar is, pretty hot. And,
that is scorching. that is scorching.
That's a cool front down here.
no doubt. But, what did you make us?
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you make of the Sierra Leone win? I thought Fierceness had a pretty decent trip. You got to look back, though. Chad Brown did have that rabbit out there kind of creating a little bit of a pace. But at the final turn, Fierceness, Sierra Leone ran a big race, I thought.
Yeah, huge race. And the pace wasn't that quick despite having the rabbit. And, back in the old school, they used to always run rabbits. A horse named Pedivar used to run against Dr. Fager to try and bury him. And, so the others had a chance, like Buckbass and those horses and Damascus, But it just now it's shocking that horse was entered. But it really didn't do much for the pace. And like you said, Fierceness had that 2-length lead at the top of the stretch. And I think the horse has massive distance limitations. Plus, there's a possibility the horse could have bled because, Todd Fletcher always has his horse in top condition. So I'm waiting to hear word. The way the horse folded, it was quite shocking. But Sierra Leone ran great and beat the Brad Cox horse that loves Saratoga. So I had a nice back in that race. I couldn't tell you. I needed Fierceness or I can't remember who else was third, and I got beat by that 70-1. So, all in all, it was a tremendous performance by Sierra Leone. Now we're going to keep our eyes set on how the Breeders' Cup Classic develops, and it's going to be here in Del Mar. So you have those three-year-olds that are just monstrous, especially Sovereignty. And now you have Sierra Leone. You still have Mindframe, who Todd Fletcher will definitely have in tip-top shape. And if you could ever see any of those Japan horses, this is going to be a tremendous Breeders' Cup Classic. And it's good for horse racing. It's what you need. And, all the CAW talk around here, I know that's all you heard, Jimmy. You were texting me and asking me about it, and it really was bad the week you were here, where the odds were just tremendously changing at Del Mar. And then they put the cap like the NYRA on the win bets, but now all you see is less of the win pool. And you have to understand that the CAWs could see where these bets are coming in and what they are betting on, whereas the general public cannot see that. This is what the distinct advantage is, to where they could ply the pool on the very popular wagers that the people are making on track and so forth. So, the only way to rectify this is probably a 5-minute lockout freeze. It may hurt handle. I mean, everybody works both ways with it. But do you want your true value? Are you going to bet a horse that you know is 10-1 that goes off at 2-1? That's the whole key issue. You handicap for value. Guys like me and you, we're not tremendous bettors where we're betting 50,000, 60,000 per race. We're the average consumer. And if you sniff out a horse that's 8 or 10-1, Jimmy, you want that value. I mean, okay, 7-1, 6-1, the horse gets hit a little, but to see 2-1, you're not going to make that wager to win and lock up your money if you're an average consumer that's just betting $25 to $100 per race. This is what the difference is, and the CAWs have advantages that the player on track does not have.
Yeah, and with the CAWs talking about the computer groups, Charlie, that have these computer programs. It's very similar to a deal that happened in Hong Kong where they rung them up for hundreds of millions of dollars, and it's going on, and they also get rebates based on their action. So they're just trying to, but it's in it. The bets are made basically. They're triggered right before they start. And there was one horse that I had, and so we used to think that guys were getting bets in the middle of the race. They could see like the first 15 seconds of the race, and then they were past posting and stuff like that. But it's the computer groups, and there was a race on the Saturday, the second weekend at Del Mar, and I bet a little bit more. I bet $50 to win. They showed the race in the odds on FanDuel TV or TVG is 18-1. They get to the turn, he's at 10-1. They get to mid-stretch, he's 6-1. Well, I mean, that's a nice piece of my bankroll right there. I mean, that's $600, man. I mean, I'm a winner for the day. If I get the price that I thought I was going to get. So, and one of our friends, had it in a contest as well, which was a big deal. So, no, I think, Dwayne, it affects. And guys like us who know just enough that, no, we didn't get the one hit that we made or the few hits we made. You got to get paid on those, when you do get those scores because they're not as frequently. And when you don't, a lot of people at Del Mar really don't even – they're betting. They got their Lamont. They really don't care. But I think the ones that know just enough are the ones – guys like us, I think, are affected.
Well, it makes me nervous that I'm betting against a computer. I can tell you that, I mean, you may be able to ease my fears with some of the restrictions.
And they're good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to bet against Elon Musk. Okay, I mean, if they come up with some, determined, some kind of angle.
The key is rebates. That's what the key is. We're not getting rebates on track. In get comps. We have the best comping system at the Rampart in Las Vegas, but they're getting physical cash back on top of these winning wagers that they're plying the pool with.
Yeah, they and that's another for sure. And so they it limits you. You know, Michael tried to Baychuk tried to kind of, it just didn't sink in as much, but it was really, and what Saratoga has limited, so they are not taking computer bets a minute till post at Saratoga, and I think it's 2 minutes to post. Del Mar did it while I was there at Del Mar, so they're doing something. But this is the computer guys that give. This is the difference between a information for like a bet in the NFL draft at a sports book. Well, they lose if the information gets there. The information, they don't care. Whatever's in the pool, the more money in the pool, they take their cut before they pay out.
Yeah.
So they're making a lot of money off the computer guys. So there's a little bit of a balance there. And so speaking of, hey, there was a rumor went out that Nussmeier, the starting quarterback for LSU, is going to hurt. We saw some of the outlets move the LSU-Clemson line. Clemson up to 4.5. It's there right now at some current spots. Did you guys move it at the Rampart in South Point also?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Yeah, I do have access to the odds, and yes, we make like helping about you guys. That's a big factor with dealing with one of these marquee matchups every one. I mean, that's one of the better matchups, and without a doubt, we'll be keeping our eye on that. But what do you believe is status of the quarterback? You guys are right there. You tell me.
No, it was, there was no media available. Most of the media has been able to go, but it was no media practice yesterday, and there might have been a little bit of but it was not accurate. But the guys took a chance because it could be accurate, and they might have gotten closing line value at 6 or 7 points. So they, so that's why. I think that's why it jumped up. It was starting to trickle up a little bit. It went from 3 to 3.5 about 2 weeks ago. Then it went to 4 at about half the places, and then a lot of 4.5s yesterday. So we'll see. Y'all getting any action on these on the preseason? We got 3 of them tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And we're sitting at 4, by the way, on that game, and they're all 4.5s, and higher.
Okay.
Juice in Las Vegas, but the Rampart and South Point, we are sitting at 4. We opened that game at 3, so we did make a slight adjustment on that, like I spoke to earlier. Yeah, definitely. Anytime Baltimore is involved on these preseason games, you're definitely going to get some. They had a tremendous winning streak. But now you're seeing them a 6-point underdog against the Colts. So that's going to be an interesting. And I always tell you guys, you have to watch the quarterback rotation, second, third, fourth stringers, because you're not going to see the starters in these games. You're watching the Hall of Fame game. I think each team only used 2 quarterbacks each. You did have Trey Lance out there who had a monstrous game. And, he is a backup quarterback that is serviceable and learning different systems as he's been bounced around. So that is valuable experience. And I always like to keep an eye on the quarterback rotations. Also, the defensive rotations are very important. Who's going to be out there? Who's fighting for a starting job? And so forth. So, initial reaction tonight, Colts, we opened that game at 4. We're at -6 now. Also, Cincinnati, -4, up to 6.5. And in the last game, up to 5, naturally, what's going on there. Even though the game is, Seattle is the home team, -5 on Vegas. So we're going to see how this all plays out.
Here's what we know. The Colts are going to run Anthony Richardson for a 1/4 and Daniel Jones for the rest of the first half.
Right.
Ravens are sitting everybody. And if you're remembering the streak for Baltimore that came to an end 2 years ago, they've actually lost 4 of their last 5 preseason games.
Yeah.
So Ravens are sitting everybody in the start. Bengals are going to play the starters on offense for multiple series tonight. The Eagles are expected to hold everybody, although that hasn't been confirmed. The Raiders are going to start allegedly going to start Geno Smith, and the rest of the starters, except Ashton Genty, they're going to hold a rookie from Boise State in Pete Carroll's return to Seattle. So
Pete Carroll at Jets, New England, and also Seattle.
Burrow going to play? I heard
Yeah, he's gonna. He's gonna play multiple series.
Why?
Multiple series. They're changing their approach
because they're 0-6 the last 3 years in their first 2 games, and they're trying something different to try and get off to a better start. So
means nothing. Means nothing. I'll be honest with you. And when you have that much of a commodity, when him and Chase make 90% of the salaries on that team, to trot those guys out there in a meaningless game, to me, that is just unbelievable. And, I did hear that he was going to play the first series possibly, but now you see why the game is up to 6.5. Keep in mind, I'm not in Vegas. I'm not watching all these rotations every day. That's Chris's job. But, yeah, I know Genty will not play. That's definitely established. They're not going to risk him at all. Vegas definitely wants to turn the corner, and they're going to try a lot of different things, don't get me wrong, in the preseason, and they're definitely a team to watch in the preseason. But they're not going to risk Genty. Like you said, Baltimore, the streaks, that's what it's all about. They've won the 9 in a row. Now they lost 4 out of 5. That's why they're a very focal point. Anytime they're in the preseason, we have massive handle on Baltimore, and I think it's the right thing. You don't need to trot Lamar Jackson and those guys out there. There's no reason to. You're one of the top teams in the AFC. Very shocked. I did not know. I thought Burrow was definitely shit. Thanks for the information, guys. Very important to know that.
Yeah, the head coach said he's going to play multiple series. So that's great. Here's the second odds-on favorite to win the MVP this year, playing multiple series. It is odd, there's no doubt. So he's done some questionable things in the past, but yes, there's no question it comes with some risk. Kaluch, look, don't worry, that marine layer is going to burn off in a couple hours. You're going to be fine. You're going to get all the sunshine. You can go play around on the surf, before you get hit to the turf across the street, man. Good luck to you today, brother. We appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely love you guys, and we're going to make some money today, without a doubt. You know how Del Mar is. You get some good prices, and you're set for the meet. So we're definitely going to look to light it up. I got a week left. Thank you guys for having me on. Love you guys.
All right, good luck to you, Kaluch. We appreciate it, as always. Don't forget our friends at Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com for windows, doors, siding, shutters. Well, how about the siding? When it comes to ensuring the protection and lasting style of your home, there's no better option here in South Louisiana than high-quality siding provided by Relief Window. Vinyl siding, Hardy Plank siding. The Hardy Plank siding, they got James Hardy Preferred Contractor, bringing the very best in siding directly to your home. Our fiber cement products can help give your home high-end curb appeal with low maintenance, especially trying to deal with the mold and the heat and just the weather conditions that really wear on these materials more than other environments. Relief Windows open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, 288-8138, and ReliefWindows.com.
Live at Sammy's on Highland Road. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Sammy's Grill on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Happy birthday to Lee Corso. Coach makes 90 today, and later this month he'll make his final appearance on College Game Day. And also today, the 80th birthday for John Gilliam, who returned the kickoff of the first play in Saints history. John Gilliam turns 80 years old today, the first play ever in Saints history. For a touchdown.
Yeah, in Tulane Stadium against the Rams. So, hey, don't forget over here at Sammy's Grill on Highland Road, we got all your tailgating needs as well. We'll talk about it when we get a little bit more time after the hour.
Hour number 2, straight ahead, 104.5.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Sammy's Grill on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here at Sammy's Highland Road. Come by and see us for lunch here. We're in the bar area on the right side.
33, 34, 35 years ago, Sammy's Grill right here. Mr. Sammy Nagan was my first sponsor ever doing this stuff, man. And so we go back away. And when I was doing the charity golf and tennis tournaments, Sammy's Grill would always participate and do some on-site, grilling and things like that. And Well, tailgating season, you're trying to get your tailgating season, hey, keep Sammy's in mind because we do great catering, everything from, buffalo wings, chicken tenders, fried alligator bites, spinach and artichoke dip. The pepper jack boudin egg rolls are outstanding, man. Those are really good. Finger food, too easy. The mini po' boy platters, the wrap platters. I got the grilled chicken wrap, Caesar wrap today. Is outstanding. Boiled shrimp, salads, the gumbos by the quart or by the gallon, both seafood and chicken and sausage, red beans, white beans, the Bayou seafood pasta, blackened chicken pasta, so veggie sides as well. So, they a great extensive menu. I've been to some events as well where Sammy's is catered. They do a great job. So family gathering, birthday, business lunch, but tailgating as well. Don't go to your tailgate empty-handed. Pick up a tray over here at Sammy's on the way.
The preseason gets in full swing tonight with 3 games, and we got a full weekend's worth of stuff. And to me, this is a little bit more interesting, Jimmy, than what we used to have. With 3-game preseason that's been in place since COVID, the decisions have to be made a lot quicker. You have a little bit less time to work with, even though that 4th preseason game had become nothing more than a nuisance. But we're seeing some different approaches.
The last
here.
preseason game has always been that way, whether it's been 6, whether it's been 4, or now 3. But now you speed it up. The first one, your starters, when it was 4, a lot of teams wouldn't play at all. Some would for a series or 2, maybe a quarter. Now it's sped up, and so. But this year, quarterback battle in Indianapolis. So you talk about that. You're going to get a half.
Full half of both starters for the first 2 preseason games. They're just going to flop the order in the second one.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what they're going to do. And Rick Venturi was interviewed on it, and he said it's pretty close. And he says, well, when it's close, tie goes to the runner. Well, who's a better runner?
Richardson.
Yes. Yeah. And if it's close, who we spend more money or a higher draft pick on? Richardson. So I think Richardson is, unless, now if we see these 2 games and Jones is clearly better, they may go with him. But we'll see. Is Steichen, how much pressure is on him?
I would think quite a bit with you got a new owner.
Did Irsay hire him?
Yeah.
Okay, he's gone.
Yeah, right. You got new ownership there, and I can't.
The daughters, huh?
It's a tougher prediction to make there. I would tell you that I know what I'm getting out of Daniel Jones. I know where my ceiling is with Daniel Jones. I'm going to give every opportunity for Anthony Richardson to win this job. I'm going to go like the old boxing thing. The challenger's got to beat the champion. I would say that Richardson's got to get beat out because I want to see. Okay, he might. My thought is he's not ever going to be a really consistent passer in this league, but they've made the investment, so I'd want to see. I know what I'm getting out of Daniel Jones. Do I think they would be better off in Game 1 with Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson? Yes. 8 games? Yeah. The whole season? Maybe. I don't know. But I know I'm not going to the Super Bowl with Daniel Jones. Not with this team, and not with any team in the near future. So I want to see. I want to give him a chance.
And Harbaugh, who had that unbelievable 19 in a row, whatever it was, that is flipped. So they have gone to. And you used to pay a heavy tax because they inflated the lines because people are going to bet them. We'd bet them till they show us they would. Well, they have, but the Colts are, and they said they're not playing anybody, and they shouldn't.
No,
they're an established roster. The coach is under no pressure. There's no motivation. Why take unnecessary risks?
I tell Derrick Henry to stay home.
That's why
watch the game on TV.
Of course, your veteran running back. He's at the top of the list.
Right.
The Colts are 6.5-point favorites right now. You heard Randy say also yesterday that that might be a little bit of an overreaction. To the team that's trying harder.
Richardson might throw 3 interceptions in a quarter and a half. Who knows?
I don't think it's an overreaction with the Bengals and the Eagles, okay? When you play the most games, you're the Super Bowl champion. What do you veteran quarterback? I tell
Saquon Barkley to watch the game on television.
Well, he's the obvious, but
the whole first unit.
Does Zach Bond play? No, you better not.
He's been banged up anyway.
Even
if he's not,
you name your starter.
No,
name your returning starter.
I'm sitting there, but I think the Bengals' decision is a lot more interesting.
I mean, no, the Bengals, and Colucci makes a valid point. This is a risk. I mean, we know Burrow can play, but, man, I went through the first game numbers. That's not Burrow numbers. So he's, so they are getting – this is 3 years in a row now. They're 0-6 in the first two. Now, the second game against Kansas City, they got hosed on a call, or they win that at Arrowhead.
Right.
Okay, so that's one of them. Another game was a shootout, the second game against Baltimore. You lose a shootout to Baltimore, but they're losing. But the first game especially, he has not played well.
He is not.
And I know you say that part of it is he's coming in a little banged up. Part of it is he's not making season decisions, Burrow-esque decisions. I mean, you throw 4 interceptions. Tell me when that happens.
No, that's undisputable. The numbers are there. The question that they have to be asking themselves inside that locker room is why. And they've decided that it's because he wasn't getting enough work. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing this.
I agree, but it comes with a risk.
Sure. Oh, look, he goes out there and pulls a hamstring or bangs his thumb. The thumb is just finally healthy, after that injury. He bangs that on a helmet, and, boy, you're kicking yourself for a long time.
And so I think this line is – but I don't expect – what you guess? I think he'll play. I think you'll see – the starters on offense play. I mean, and this is applying to the defense too. They want to get off to a better start. They're going to play their starters.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I interpret it, huh?
I'll read it to you exactly as it was out of the. I think this was
because everybody's talking about it's Chase, it's Burrow, it's it's the stars.
Burrow can expect a few series of work against the Eagles and a bigger workload expected in the second game. The starters are not expected to play in the preseason finale.
So that tells me one series into the second quarter today, and next week maybe the whole first half.
Yeah.
I mean that's my interpretation. We'll see ultimately, tonight if they go right down the field, 75 yards, flawless. I'd take them out, huh?
Well, you're asking the wrong person because I'm not sure I'd play him at all. They're holding 4 defensive starters.
They're playing them.
Yeah.
Okay, we know they're playing them.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can ask you that.
20.
I mean, don't go. You're right through a curveball at the Mannings because I've been telling you for how many months now.
20,
Archie says it now. Oh, yeah, it's just obvious.
24 snaps, 24 snaps, however many drives it takes you to
no
get
matter
back.
what he does the first drive. They're flawless.
If they're committed to playing him, Sarah, I would say 24 snaps, 24 snaps.
So you don't think it? Again,
it
my
would matter to me.
My analytics and my preparation are trumped by what's happening on the field.
Yeah.
If they look flawless, I mean, they're choppy. And we punt. Well, no, I want to see them in with a score. And you might even be tempted to leave them in, one more drive than you wanted to originally.
I think if they go 10 plays, 80 yards, and score 75 yards and score in the first drive, they're committed to a second drive, but maybe not a third. Somewhere around 24 snaps.
But the Eagles, the of anybody most likely to sit everybody for a long time. The Bengals are playing more, so that 6.5 I think is high. But I don't think they're playing in the second half, so you don't have that talent to spare. It's -3.5 for the first half right now. That's where I'm getting at. And then the late game on the NFL Network, it's a homecoming, huh? Pete Carroll,
yeah,
and whether he was at the Jets, at the Patriots, at the Seahawks, he had a winning record in preseason at all 3 stops. Word is, Rick Neuheisel was talking about Pete Carroll's playing anything he wants to win. New coach, losing culture, wants to try it. Huh?
The only guy they said they're sitting is Genty, the rookie, okay? Which means Geno Smith's going to play. Max Crosby is going to play. I mean, okay.
He might not.
I would sit Crosby.
Yes, because he's had some injuries.
He has, and he is would you say he's a high motor guy that the wear and tear? Yeah,
no, that's when you really get hurt.
The wear and tear on him. Yeah, I would sit him, but they're going to play. They're going to play some people. So,
how long would he have lasted at Eastern Michigan in today's landscape, the transfer portal?
20 minutes. 20 minutes. Saturday. Here's another one. Travis Hunter is going to play for Jacksonville. Both ways. On
that's tomorrow.
On Saturday.
Okay.
Against they're playing Pittsburgh, and it seems like they're doing the opposite of what we thought they might do when they drafted him, which was a lot on defense and a little bit on offense. It's the other way. Trevor Lawrence even weighed in on this yesterday. He's like, I went to the guy and said, you want to catch a bunch of touchdowns and occasionally break up a pass, or break up 2 or 3 passes a game and catch, a touchdown occasionally? He goes, I want him on offense. Okay.
We're really old when Pete Carroll, I remember when he was coaching the Jets and coaching New England, he wasn't terrible, but he was sort of immature. He wasn't mature enough. He was so young that he wasn't a failure. He had like a 500 record, and got the Jets to a playoff game, but he was just immature and he just wasn't ready for it yet. Now we see him, what's he still doing coaching?
Right.
Yeah.
The most energetic
73, 74?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. He doesn't – look, he has always been a high-energy guy, and he's a fantastic coach, whatever you think of. I know the LSU fans here.
73.
We'll think of him as the guy who was at USC all those years where there was this rivalry of teams that never played, if you want to call it that. But they were good, man. I mean, and he was really good at Seattle.
Lincoln Riley just can't do it. And USC has upped their game, up their support financially when they went and got him, whether it's a private jet to everything to the player budget. But they just can't get those guys up front that they had. And he's still like their teams are still like they were at at Oklahoma, a little bit of built like a flag football team. They have no physicality, physical element to them, and it hurt. They lost all 4 road games last year. Now they won at UCLA across town officially, but the other 4, they lost them all. At Maryland's only conference win last year.
That was
29-28.
That was
down
a
up
real
14 in the fourth.
Screwy one. What was the one that they blew the lead in the second half?
But
there was another one I'm thinking of that they blew the lead last year.
Well, Michigan, they blew it. They had the lead there.
Minnesota
was another one.
That was the one I'm thinking of.
That was a controversial play.
Yes,
in that one too.
Yeah, and that was the one I thought that they were going to win.
So Pete Carroll replaced. Who was the coach at USC before him?
Oh gosh. Was that John Robinson's second run?
Paul Hackett.
Paul Hackett.
And so everybody was looking for jobs, and Carroll convinced one assistant who had a job in the NFL, and he said, if you want to do, I need you at least this year. I need you this year. And the guy that's most responsible for getting all those linemen?
Bebe
Orgeron.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
He made 2. Keeping Bebe was such a huge deal for the recruiting. The other guy, Norm Chow. That was the other key hire.
Yes,
really
because
strong.
Leinart hit the ground was when they lost Carson Palmer, and they beat Iowa in the Orange Bowl like a drum, and they were going to have some growing pains. And we talk about that young quarterback, that first road start in a hostile environment. Well, Auburn, Alabama is a pretty tough place to start. Have your first start. He hit the floor running. He hit the ground running. He looked like Chow was really good. He was really, just one of those lifetime coordinators that just wasn't a great coach.
Head coach.
That's what I mean.
No, his schematics were pretty strong.
He's highly
very good play caller. Very, very good.
Ahead of his time. Don't forget our friends over at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big, with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow, including their newest branch at Burbank and Bluebonnet. We've been serving the people of South Louisiana for over 50 years. Prentice Wilkes, Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, David Henry. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live from Sammy's on Highland Road, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny, live from Sammy's Grill on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And we return here at Sammy's on Highland Road. We're also brought to you by the Thibodaux Store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux. If you got those home projects that you need to take care of, Yeah, look, some of these things you can handle yourself without hiring a handyman or a contractor. Let the experts at the Thibodeau store walk you through step by step. Make sure you're not wasting time or money. You'll get supplies that you need, techniques that you can employ, not waste any time or any money. Lots of hand tools, power tools, lumber out of the Pierre Parts store. And as we get closer to tailgating season, lots of grills, crawfish pots, jambalaya pots, all the way up to your big green egg cookers for your patios. Lots of patio furniture, too. Go on the website,
Tailgating.
TheThibodeauStore.com. Yes,
tailgating, outdoor cooking, on-site cooking. It's unbelievable.
Make your whole kitchen out there.
So, the different jambalaya pots, like you said, with all different sizes and price points, the burners. I mean, you could do single, double, and triple, burners if you want to fry and do stuff like that. I mean, it blew me away. It is awesome, man. So you getting ideas right now, trying to formulate your, you do your own cooking at the, or if you do, you're a caterer and do on-site cooking for people's tailgates, you got to go visit the Thibodeau store.
The Saints out in California, they'll be there until next Friday. So a lot of practices in addition to the game. They play with the Chargers on Sunday. Kellen Moore hasn't said a whole lot so far about exactly what his quarterback rotation is going to look like Sunday. This one's unique, Jimmy. We talked about the rotations for. If you got Joe Burrow, do you play him? If you got a quarterback competition between Richardson and Jones, what do you do there? The Saints have a full-fledged 3-player quarterback competition that for the moment is still too close to call. And your couple
you believe it's 3?
I don't believe Haener will start. I do know that they're still giving him equal reps, though.
Dumb.
So, I would have thought that would have been over a week ago. I would have thought that they would have scaled that back.
Haener's not in it. It's a two-person race.
I think so, too. But they're still getting those kind of reps. So, with that in mind, how would you split this up if you were Kellen Moore for game
I do it like the Colts
2?
are doing.
You would give Rattler. Let's just say Rattler because he's the older of the two. The more experienced of the two by 6 games. You give him a quarter and a half here, and then you would give Shuck half a quarter and let Haener play the second half. And then you would flip that for the second game.
I would even go one half apiece. I would do more than with the Colts. Both the Colts quarterbacks. It's a quarterback competition. I mean, Richardson's going to get the benefit of the doubt. If it's close at all, they got more invested in him. And like you said, his ceiling is way higher. So let's try and play him and see if he can develop, give him a chance to develop where he didn't have those 25 starts in college. And a guy that needs it more than anybody.
Yeah.
I would even go a whole half here, with and rotate it back the next game. Haener could play a little bit in the third game, but he just I don't really get that. I guess he wants to give him enough. Haener's he's got some physical limitations, and he's just not an NFL quarterback.
No, he's undersized.
Roster
guy.
He's got a below average arm. I mean, he's just can he be your third quarterback? Yeah, but he's not. He's without injury, he will never start a game in the NFL. He would just not. Now, I loved him at Fresno. Fine. He was a big difference being in and out of the lineup. I can tell you that at Fresno.
Sure.
But it just does not translate to this league.
I don't think he'll ever be a starter either.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of
quit wasting your time with those reps, man.
But they haven't so far. I think after this game, you have to. The problem you run into with that is, what happens if one of the two front guys goes out there and stinks it up, and Haener plays great in the second half? You're going to say, well,
then you get what you get.
You kind of painted yourself into a corner at that point.
Yes.
Because you don't have a situation where you have a veteran. I remember this so well. The year after Bobby Hebert held out, he missed the entire season in a contract dispute, and the Saints went out and acquired Steve Walsh. And in the preseason, when Bobby came back the following year, Bobby was rusty. He had been out of the game a year, and he just did not look good in the preseason at all. And Walsh lit it up. I mean, he looked fantastic. And after the third or fourth game, whenever it was, Jim Moore said, okay, Bobby's our starter. Because he knew that Bobby Hebert was a starting quarterback, in the NFL, and Steve Walsh was more of a borderline guy. Started some games, had some success, but he wasn't as good as Bobby. But he knew that.
What year was that, Charlie?
1991, I believe.
I went to the game that Walsh came in the first game.
You talking about the year that Bobby came back was 91. Bobby sat out 90, I believe.
First snaps in regular season that Walsh ever took was against who?
Oh, in Dallas?
Cleveland.
Okay. I don't
Tom
remember that game.
Spicue, full-page ad. Walsh, baby. Vanilla Ice era. Yes. I was in a dome with all those screaming idiots,
It's been
man.
a while. Look, I'll be honest with you. I was aggravated that Bobby had sat out at the time. So I was like, yeah, give it to Walsh, and Bobby doesn't want to play. And, of course, we know Bobby really well now, and the whole deal was a big contract dispute, and Bobby was clearly the better of the two quarterbacks. But at the time, it looked like, well, man, why? And I remember asking the question, why would you play Walsh in all of these games in the preseason and ask him to do, any more than he did if that doesn't seem to count, if you had your mind made up already? But Kellen Moore doesn't have the luxury that Jim Moore had, which was knowing that he's got a bona fide starting quarterback on his roster. For all we know, none of these three guys will ever be a long-term starter in the league.
Bobby was more of an NFL quarterback skill set, too. Okay, he went to a smaller school, okay, but he had a much bigger arm.
And Bobby had played a lot of football by that time.
And two things. One, did he have a good supporting cast in Miami? And also, they were running a pro-style offense when nobody was at Miami. They were throwing to the backs and doing things like that.
They ran 11 personnel better than anybody.
Some of the more controversial plays, were the back, Cleveland Gary, who got in against Notre Dame.
The Catholics versus convicts.
Throwing. They were doing things, but so when he came on, man, we're like, oh my God, this is it. This is the missing piece, because he lit Cleveland up. He had Eric Martin, on kind of a skinny post. He took to the house. I mean, just kind of, just like it just opened up. Well, then when you could cheat, because he doesn't have legitimate NFL arm strength, and it kind of it just, they got a book. He was limited, and that was because, man, if the Saints, the one year they had the really good offense where Dalton made the
86.
Dalton made the Pro Bowl. Eric Martin made the Pro Bowl.
Ruben Mays was a third-round pick who ended up rushing for like
did Hobie make it? Was he on those
Stan
teams?
Brock did.
That's a little chunk of offensive play, because the defense was so good.
86-87, one of those two.
Yeah, they had a really. Did Bobby make it too? I
don't think Bobby made the Pro Bowl, but that was back when the Pro Bowl,
the first three from each conference.
And you actually went and played in the game. I don't think Bobby made the Pro Bowl, but the 87 team was a really good team. They just weren't better than San Francisco. They went 12-3.
Oh, that was the strike season.
The strike season. But even with the strike games where they went 2-1, Frisco went 3-0. Frisco went 13-2. Saints went 12-3. Saints had the second best record in the NFL and had to play a wild card game, and they still ain't blocked Keith Millard or Chris Doman.
Took a 7-0 lead,
and then they did not block Doman and Millard the rest of the way. Jim Dombrowski became a guard that day.
Who was the game they lost? And Forte was the scab quarterback, but who was the game they lost? The team.
Chicago? Or did they win that game?
At the St. Louis Cardinals.
Vi Sekahima broke the went across the line?
I don't know about that, but, I mean, the Saints outgained them by like 250 yards. They found a way to lose, because Forte was a great replacement quarterback.
He was one of the top,
it was a great replacement quarterback.
I seem to remember there was a return in that game. It may crossed the line or something.
I'm just telling you, Saints went up and down the field, and it was just. I thought Weizsäcker was on the regular team, though.
He was on the regular team, but there were a few guys that crossed the line. I may be thinking of the wrong game. I remember that lousy turf at Busch Stadium, though.
But it's like, for instance, that San Francisco team went out, was very aggressive, and got all kinds of replacement play. Were prepared for this, way more prepared. They played a Monday night game against the Giants, and I think the Giants were the defending champions.
They were.
And Giants didn't do anything, and they beat them 48-0, and it was so. Yeah, those three games were all the difference in the world.
That's when LT and the guys were like, we're crossing the line if we don't get this fixed at some point.
Like Parcells' toilet assistant. I don't care what comes out of his mouth. You listen to him.
Yeah, put 56 out there. On the President's Council now.
Workbox Services, they can handle all of your movable storage needs, commercial or residential. Our shipping containers come in all different sizes, not just one size like most places. The units can be customized for him. We can customize them for any. We can make them out to lunchrooms, offices, dual purpose, part office, part storage, climate control. You want AC? Need that? No problem. Different shelving, lighting, you name it. We can customize it exactly how you want it. Give my buddy Martin Patio and Workbox a call at 343-4886 and WorkboxLLC.com.
Jacques Doucet from Channel 9 joins us when we come back. Big event for Red Rock and Blue Coat this weekend. Plus, Jacques been out at practice. We'll get his thoughts on the first week.
He spread the rumor yesterday.
He did not. Don't let somebody hear that and think different. Live at Sammy's on Highland, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Sammy's Grill on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And return here at Sammy's Live at lunch. Good to have our friend Jacques Doucet in from WBAFB Channel 9 in Red Rock and Blue in its 18th year raising money for military charities. Good to see you, JD. How you doing, man?
Charles, thanks for having me, man. Great to be here at the OG Sammy's, I guess we would call it, right?
Right. So. We're always happy to help you promote what is become an annual event, and it's seen a lot of different things that you guys have done to raise money for military charities over the years. And we're going to get to all of that. But I got to ask you, where were you about, say, 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon?
I think I was skirting the line between do I need to address some stuff on the internet and do I let it lie, maybe? Because, it started to kind of blow up. There were some tweets by certain people saying that Garrett Nussmeier had a torn ACL. Then I'd gotten a couple of text messages about, people here and getting carted off the field and this and that. I reached out to some people. I can't say that I have worked this story as maybe hard as I could have because, as you referenced, they're supposed to go to practice tomorrow and we're supposed to be able to go watch. And Joe Sloan, of all people, is supposed to be giving a press conference tomorrow.
How convenient.
Around that time. So, will we go out there? Will we see him? Will they make an adjustment to their practice schedule? I'm not sure. But to answer your question, it started blowing up and there was some panic. And then LSU said he's fine, but there wasn't a whole lot of elaboration on it. And so what does that mean?
If he's okay, let's play it straight here for a second. They said he's fine. What else do they have to say? If that's what happened, okay, then he's fine. And he goes to practice tomorrow, and he goes to the scrimmage on Saturday, and we go on about our business. If he is limited or whatever, the questions are going to come back. Okay, fine. We'll wait till tomorrow on that. But the rumor did get to the point where pretty much every news organization that covers LSU had to make some kind of statement about it. Had to say, hey, look, you did on your newscast last night. Yeah. Matt did it at 3 o'clock right there. That was when it looked like it had calmed down. It happened. I'll be honest with you. I'm glad I wasn't on the air when it happened because then you got to try to do a story where it was what Hunt was dealing with that yesterday.
Wilson Alexander, Jacob Hester, all the people we respect and follow. All had to address it.
Right. And I think Shea Dixon had put out a tweet that got a lot of traction. He's fine. Okay. Usually we're no strangers to rumors around here, especially when it comes to the LSU football team. Rarely do they get to the level where everybody's got to make an I'm okay, you're okay kind of statement. Usually it doesn't get to that point.
Yeah, and is that a reflection just of modern-day media now with X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, where things can, in 5 minutes blow up and take off? Now, how many people, even though as important as those social media platforms are, how many people are on those in our total population here. I did hear from a lot of people saying that they had heard nothing about it until we started talking about it. So, people have lives and they have to go to work and whatnot. But
it happened really quick. Like I said, when we left the show after yesterday, and by the time 20 minutes later, this was starting to pick up some steam. By 3 o'clock, it was over. Mm-hmm. So it happened. You had to be paying attention. If you were in a 2-hour meeting, if you went to the movies at 1 o'clock yesterday, the whole thing was.
It was a short window, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but even Nussmeier himself, at any point, take out your phone, put something on, Instagram or X or wherever. Right. I'm fine. So we'll see tomorrow. But the fears have been alleviated. Now, be honest about this one. Like every other LSU person that covers LSU, you had to be thinking about, what if he is out? Well, what do you think of, what if he is out?
Well, I mean, this is a time of year to be positive and counting down to the season opener, and I can't wait, and, we're excited. And, I mean, I got to be truthful. If you would think of the one thing that could send this season into the ditch, it would be Garrett Nussmeier injured.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad's good friend Skip Gardner in Gaydon, Louisiana. He's been in and out of the nursing home. So my dad says, can you send him some magazines to kind of cheer his spirit? So I get him the Tiger Rag magazine. I get him the 225 magazine. Who's on the front cover of that?
Nussmeier,
Garrett Nussmeier. Yeah, the whole team's built around him. The clip that the Netflix documentary sent out the other day with Brian Kelly, he's talking to Trace Armstrong about, we got to get Garrett Nussmeier back next year. He's the key to the whole team. So not breaking any news with that, but and the other two guys behind him, they're young, they're talented, but the times we've been there at practice, they're not completing a whole lot of balls. And so that just really makes you nervous, especially with an offensive line still that you're not sure about.
I'm going to give them a little bit of a break in that LSU's second defense has got plenty of experience on it.
Yeah.
And LSU's second offensive line does not. But you're right. I think that Michael Van Buren was brought in as an insurance policy, but let me not get myself in too much trouble here, but like some insurance policies, you're not fully covered. Okay, you're covered for Louisiana Tech. You're covered for Southeastern. You're covered if you have a lead in a conference game. You're not covered for a road game at Clemson or a road game at Alabama. You've got partial coverage, is what you got.
Yeah, I mean, you root for Garrett. He's done things the right way. He's been here for 5 years. He has come off the heels. LSU's been playing football 132 years, Charles. He's coming off the heels of the two greatest quarterbacks in the history of the school that both won Heisman trophies. I guess you could talk about Burt Jones and some others in there, but these are your two Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks, and he's in a modern time where there's a lot of pressure, more pressure than they used to be because of social media and all the talk out there, and you're rooting for him, and he can make all the throws. He's looked very good at practice. I think Monday was the day that Harold Perkins baited him into the interception. Harold's looked very good, but yeah, this would be an all-time bummer. I mean, I was thinking about it today. You and I have been around for a long time. I was thinking about preseason bummers, and the two that I could think of, one goes back 20 years. Ali Broussard had an ACL in 2005. I think that, Katrina, 20 years ago this summer. But he blew out his knee before the season. And then Leonard Fournette, they tackled him in practice 2016, and he had his moments in 2016, but he was kind of limping all year. I mean, can you remember a preseason bummer that would equate to something like this? Hopefully we're not talking about.
I can remember two. One of them ended up not being a bummer at all, and the other one ended up costing them, but not until way down the road, and they were in back-to-back years. 2011 was Shady's.
Yes.
And I thought that was going to blow a hole in the boat. I really did. It blew up their quarterback situation. The whole team had to do a mea culpa. Les was out of his mind with what they had done. I thought that was going to sink them in the opener that year, and couldn't have been more wrong. Okay, that was one of the. I mean, I remember that press conference where there's 20 of them on the leadership council, and they're all coming out to apologize. And I'm like, Les is going to lose his mind over this. They had to change quarterbacks. They didn't trust Jared Lee at all, and I'm like, no way. And couldn't have been more wrong. Great team all the way until the end. We know how that happened. Then the next year, I remember this very vividly.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah,
Friday,
of course.
Tyrann Mathieu was dismissed from the team. And
I should have thought of that.
I was taking a Friday off. I had some friends in from out of town. It was about this time of the year. They were in the camp, but not too far. And it was I was leaving town early. I got a call that said, "You better come back for this press conference." And I said, "Is it that important in camp? Who's running with the ones?" No, come back. I was halfway down the road. I was 20 miles down the road. I turned around and came back for that press conference. And that didn't really hang them until the Alabama game.
Mm-hmm.
They were a good team. With him, they might have won a title. So those would have been my two.
Yeah, that's a great call because LSU used to do something called Media Day. You remember that?
Uh-huh.
And you would go around and talk to everybody, and Tyrann was there. He had this platinum blonde hair at the time, and a few days later he was off the team. Still one of the more fascinating stories in LSU history that the AD at the time, we're not putting up with this. This has got to go. And then, a few years later, the AD and Tyrann Mathieu were standing on the field at Tiger Stadium as he's making a $1 million contribution to the Tyrann Mathieu Players Lounge at Football Ops.
I'd prefer not to talk about that, AD. It's all the same to you. All right, tell me what you've seen. Quarterbacks aside, we've been out there for several days last week.
They're loaded at wide receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, the second you mention 3 or 4, there's like, oh, they got these 3 or 4 too. I mean, Aaron Anderson is your leading returner in receptions and yardage. He hasn't been out there, and I don't want to say you've forgotten about him, but when the other day I'm standing there looking at Nick Anderson standing next to Trey'Dez Green and saying, oh, my God, look at these freaks. Trey'Dez, obviously, but could play like a wide receiver. Chris Hilton has obviously not played a ton in his first 4 years at LSU. When he has played, he's been a problem for the opposing defense. Back to Anderson, they've used him all over the place. So you have a lot of wide receivers there, but as you would talk about, the old cliche is football teams are built from the inside out, not the outside in. And so I had been surprised, let's see here in my notes here, that what's my guy? Bernard Gooden has flashed as much as he has on the defensive line. So is that a product of LSU not blocking him, or is he good?
He's got a big first step. He's got a very quick first step. I wasn't expecting to see that when he got here. And I think he's a wonderful addition to this group because he doesn't have to, at 270 pounds-ish, play 50 snaps a game. I mean, it's been one of the tougher positions to keep people healthy of recent memory at defensive tackle. If this guy can play 15 snaps a game or 18 snaps a game, he's going to be hell to deal with. If he had to play 50 or 60 snaps, I'd worry about him getting worn down. I'd worry about any defensive tackle getting worn down, but especially him because he's not that big. Now I can put him in on passing downs. I can put a package in where I get maybe 4 speed rushers in there on a third down and long. I can have Patrick Payton on one side. I can have Gooden in the middle. I can maybe have Relaford on one side. Maybe I can slide Peyton down a little bit and put Perkins on the outside. It opens up some really fun, creative things that you can do on passing downs to have an interior guy that is built like he is.
Yeah, I agree. Peyton has really flashed. He's been in the backfield a lot. Sometimes I've gotten exhausted with the Harold Perkins talk because I'm sometimes wondering how good is he really. I joked that Michael Clayton, when he got to the NFL, he caught like 80 passes for 1,200 yards, and he never followed that up again. And I think he wrote a book called Chasing My Rookie Year. Well, I feel like Harold Perkins has been chasing his freshman year to an extent to be the impact he was that year.
Well, I would tell you chase from the outside, not from the inside. Peter Perkins.
Yeah. When he got injured last year, he played 4 games. He had a tackle and a half for loss. He didn't have a quarterback sack, so I'm starting to wonder. But the times we've gone and seen him the other day, like I said, he made the interception on Nussmeier. They're throwing these quick passes at the line. He's coming up, stopping Bauer sharp. He's all over the place. So hopefully, this is obviously it for him, and hopefully he shines. And, back to Nussmeier, when we've seen him, they have come after him at times, and he has thrown some beautiful passes. The other day, he's deep in the pocket. He flips it up. He drops it right in the breadbasket to Chris Hilton, sprinting down the sideline for about a 30-yard gain. He tosses one up on the right sideline. Trez Green out-jumps his man for a big gain. He throws one the other day. I think one of those deals where you throw it before the guy breaks. Xavier Thomas, like about a 10-yard out, makes the catch. Nuss was real pumped about that. So he's looked very good throwing the football. How good can they run the ball? I mean, Caden Durham has broken some runs. Will Caleb Jackson be a factor this year? Those are some questions.
We'll take a break. We're brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors, your full-service financial planners when it comes to retirement. No two situations alike. Talk to Phil Fontenot and his staff online, coastalcapitaladv.com, also 337-981-1376. They'll work with you as well as your business partners, your legal team. Doesn't matter where you are in life, they can get a plan that makes sense for you. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors. Member FINRA, SIPC, Coastal Capital Advisors. We're here by Jacques Event, Red Rock and Blue, and we come back here live at Sammy's on Highland Road, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Sammy's Grill on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, Jacques, Red Rock and Blue coming up this weekend. What's on the agenda?
Well, I have to thank my good friend Ben Cassio, guitarist in the band Regeneration. He came up with this idea several years back to get bands that used to play the Catery before it unfortunately burned down 15 years ago.
Has it been 15 years? Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I think it was New Year's Day of 2010.
It was definitely New Year's Day. I just didn't remember the year.
Yeah.
Go on.
So to get these bands back together and play for charity, and it has been a winning formula in terms of the first two we've done. We've drawn 500, 600 people. Last year we did it kind of as a spin-off. We gave $17,000 to the Louisiana Firefighters Foundation. And this year we're at the Texas Club. It's Saturday night. As successful as they have been, the person that kept popping up in the Facebook comments, when are you going to get? Well, we got Allison Collins, okay? She wouldn't play the first two, so a lot of people want to see Allison. So she's leading off. Everyone's favorite 1990s crush is leading us off. Dylan Cruz in the leadoff spot there for her. She's been great. Looking forward to her playing. We got Blueverse playing. We have Amos Moses. Amos Moses has been kind of the steak and potatoes of this thing. They have drawn a lot of people to come out and see him. And then my good friend, Cam Pyle is Amos Moses. He put this whole thing together as far as the lineup. And then Rhett Guillot and Werewolf will close things out. So tickets right now, texasclub.com. About 500 are already out. It's a 1,400 capacity. We're going to have a big crowd, but still plenty of tickets available. Go get them.
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock doors, first act at 7.
Yeah.
Benefiting Louisiana military charities.
You guys have been doing great work for a long time. We're happy to help you out anytime that we can. 18 years that they've been doing this. Thanks, Jacques. And thanks to the folks here at Sammy's. Tomorrow we're at Rufino's. Have a great day, folks. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.